Former sheriff security officer remanded for murder. Guyana News reports. A former sheriff security officer was remanded to prison on Friday after appearing in the Georgetown Magistrates Court on a murder charge. 25-year-old Akeem Blackman, of Jonestown, Mahaica, East Coast Demerara, faced senior magistrate Fabio Azor. He was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge, which alleges that he murdered Balram Persad on April 4, 2025, on Seawall Road, Kingston, Georgetown. The prosecution informed the court that Blackman and Persad had an altercation at the Kingston seawall near the bandstand. During the incident, Blackman allegedly struck Persad multiple times in the head, resulting in serious injuries. Persad later succumbed to his injuries while receiving medical treatment. Magistrate Azor remanded Blackman until his next court appearance, scheduled for June 6, 2025. Man on $50,000 bail for assaulting sister. Guyana News reports a 40-year-old man was granted $50,000 bail on Friday after appearing in the Georgetown Magistrates Court for allegedly assaulting his sister. Lennox Kidram, of Lot 25 North Sophia, Georgetown, appeared before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor. The charges state that on April 24, 2025, at Lot 29 North Sophia, he assaulted his sister, Pamela Kidram, and engaged in threatening behavior. He pleaded not guilty to both charges. During the proceedings, Kidram explained that he was cutting down a coconut tree when a branch fell and accidentally struck his sister as she walked by, prompting her to report the incident at the police station. The prosecution objected to bail, citing concerns that the defendant might interfere with his sister, given that they share the same address. Magistrate Azor granted bail at $25,000 for each charge, totaling $50,000. Kidram, however, expressed his inability to pay the bail. "Me ain't got no money on me, I can't pay no bail," he stated. The magistrate then informed Kidram that he would remain in police custody until he is able to post bail. "I have no trust in the police force," mother tells President Ali. Guyana News reports. Amicia Simon, the devastated mother of 11-year-old Adriana Young, has appealed to President Irfan Ali to assign international investigators to probe her daughter's death, expressing a lack of trust in the Guyana Police Force, GPF. In an interview with Guyana News on Friday morning, Simon shared details of her meeting with President Ali on Thursday evening. She stated that the president assured her family that justice would be served for Adriana. However, she expressed her concerns, saying, "To be honest, this family, the hotel owners, has so many connections that I feel unable to trust the situation." Adriana's body was recovered from the pool of the Doubleday International Hotel on Thursday morning by her father, Subrian Young, amid heated protests. The child was reported missing around 2 p.m. on Wednesday during an outing with her grandmother. Family members allege that despite repeated requests for a thorough search of the premises, the police failed to act. The GPF later admitted to providing inaccurate information, stating that the child had left the hotel in a red and black Toyota Ram the evening she went missing. Relatives maintain that Adriana did not leave the hotel, as surveillance footage from a neighbor's camera showed only her entering. Simon made it clear that her family does not trust the GPF to investigate her daughter's death, breaking down as she explained, "I told him, President Ali, the Guyana police force failed us. They helped to kill my child, from the commander right down. They knew what was going on all along." Simon added that President Ali did not deny any of the family's requests, including for independent investigators. In a related update, Simon confirmed that the post-mortem examination, PIM, on Adriana's body has been postponed to Monday, having originally been scheduled for Friday. The family has agreed to allow a pathologist from Barbados to conduct the PME but has requested the postponement to ensure they have additional observers present. "We don't mind this person they are bringing, but we want to have someone with us as well. So, we have Dr. Caleb and we'll get someone else because we don't want anyone doing their own thing and then claiming she drowned," the mother said tearfully. Dr. Caleb is a local doctor, and the family is also seeking the expertise of an overseas medical professional to observe the PME. So far, they have not set a date for Adriana's funeral. Meanwhile, the family's attorney, Darren Wade, reiterated their lack of confidence in the GPF to conduct an impartial investigation. Consequently, he is demanding that the government of Guyana invite international agencies such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI), Scotland Yard, or the Royal Mounted Police of Canada to take over the investigation. Regarding the pathologist from Barbados, Dr. Shubhaker Karapal, Wade has requested confirmation of his qualifications, specifically whether he holds postgraduate training in anatomical pathology and a subspecialty in forensic pathology. Wade's office is currently in communication with North American pathologists to determine which one will travel to Guyana for the PME on Monday. He also called for the government to prepare the medical board to grant necessary approvals once the required documentation is presented. Additionally, Wade requested that the GPF communicate with the family through his office, as relatives have expressed discomfort with the approaches made by officers. Friendship laborer sentenced to over 10 years for 2020 killing. Guyana Times. A 30-year-old laborer from Friendship, East Coast Demerara, ECD, was sentenced to 10 years and 4 months in prison on Thursday for the 2020 killing of 18-year-old Daniel Amore, who was fatally stabbed while attempting to protect his family during a violent altercation. John France appeared before Justice Nairshwar Harnanen at the High Court in Demerara after pleading guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. He was initially indicted for murder but chose to accept responsibility for the unlawful killing. The incident occurred on March 1, 2020, at Section 20, Friendship. According to the prosecution, the altercation began as a drunken dispute between France's father, Andrew Haslin, and Amore's stepfather, James Dublin, who had been drinking together at a nearby shop. The argument escalated into a physical fight, prompting Dublin's wife, Melissa Garraway, to intervene and separate the men. France, who was not present initially, later confronted Dublin. He left the scene but returned armed with a cutlass and a knife. France struck Dublin several times with the flat side of the cutlass, leading Garraway to intervene again, resulting in injuries to her left hand. Moments later, Amore intervened. France reportedly dropped the cutlass and fled, but Amore chased after him and managed to catch up. During the ensuing struggle, France stabbed Amore once in the chest and fled the scene. Amore collapsed and died in his mother's arms. A post-mortem examination confirmed that he died from heart perforation due to the stab wound. France was captured several days later in Mahdia. During the sentencing hearing, France expressed remorse, stating that the incident was not intentional and that he acted out of self-defense. "I am sorry for what happened," he told the court, pleading for mercy and expressing his desire to reintegrate into society after serving his sentence. His attorney, Adrian Thompson, requested leniency, highlighting that France had completed anger management courses while in custody, which had a rehabilitative impact. Thompson urged the court to consider France's willingness to change. The probation report supported the defense's claims, noting that France had been a compliant inmate, had no prior convictions, and had expressed remorse by extending apologies to Amore's family. In delivering the sentence, Justice Harnanen considered several factors, including the nature and seriousness of the offense, impact statements from the victim's family, the probation report, and relevant sentencing guidelines from the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ. The judge noted that France's initial attack on Dublin had caused a disturbance, and during the chase and struggle with Amore, the fatal stab occurred. Justice Harnanen set the starting point for sentencing at 25 years but adjusted it downward by 23 years after weighing mitigating and aggravating factors. A further one-third reduction was granted due to France's guilty plea and demonstrated remorse. After accounting for the 4 years he has already spent in custody, France was sentenced to serve a final term of 10 years and 4 months. France was represented by attorney Adrian Thompson, while prosecutors Priyanetta Siraj and Abiola Lowe appeared for the state. Delaware's chief medical examiner to arrive on Sunday for autopsy of Adriana Young. By news source Guyana. Dr. Gary Collins, the chief medical examiner of the U.S. state of Delaware, is expected to arrive in Guyana on Sunday to conduct the autopsy on 11-year-old Adriana Young, who was found dead in the pool of the Doubleday Hotel in Tucson on Thursday. The medical examiner was selected by the girl's family through their attorney, Darren Wade. The government will cover all expenses for the visit. Dr. Collins has already requested a skeletal survey and a full-body CT scan of Adriana. The family has also asked for a local doctor of their choosing to be present during the autopsy. During a visit with the family at their Parika home on Saturday, President Irfan Ali informed them that their request for an independent autopsy would be honored. "We want full transparency. I have asked the police to ensure everything is video recorded and that as many witnesses as the family wants to be present, within medical guidelines, are allowed," the president explained to NewsSource. Adriana was at the Doubleday pool on Wednesday with her grandmother, siblings, and other relatives for a family outing. She vanished from sight, prompting her grandmother to raise an alarm and seek help from hotel staff. Despite searches by family members and other poolside visitors, she could not be found. The girl's parents rushed to the hotel as her grandmother contacted the police. When the police arrived, they instructed the family to leave, with the commanding officer claiming to have seen a video of Adriana entering a car and leaving the hotel. This claim was later proven false. The family remained at the hotel overnight with supporters, and the crowd grew as they kept vigil. Less than an hour after the Human Services Minister arrived and demanded that the hotel be closed for a complete search with sniffer dogs, Adriana's body was discovered in the pool. Her death sparked protests by supporters, leading to the hotel being set ablaze. The Guyana police force later admitted that their initial statement about the girl leaving the hotel in a car was incorrect. Following the incident, the hotel was completely gutted. The police officer who was in command during the situation has been placed on administrative leave, while 3 other officers have been detained for further investigation regarding their conduct at the hotel after the complaint about the child's disappearance. Meanwhile, Adriana's family is calling for an international investigation, requesting assistance from the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, British Scotland Yard, or Canadian police, citing a lack of trust in the Guyana police force. Bishop Edgehill urges police to free themselves from corruption. Kaider News reports, Bishop One Edgehill, head of the Zadok Ministries, has called on the Guyana police force to liberate itself from corruption and to carry out its duties with integrity. This appeal comes on the heels of recent tragic shootings involving 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters and 32-year-old Kian Fogene in Linden, as well as the murder of 11-year-old Adriana Young in Tucson, East Bank, Essequibo. The Zadok Ministers' Fellowship expressed deep sorrow over these incidents and emphasized the necessity for fair justice. "We implore the police to be free from corruption and to fulfill their responsibilities with diligence. Justice must be served equitably, providing solace to victims and their families," the statement read. In their message, the organization highlighted the importance of neighborly love as articulated in the Gospel of Mark 12 verse 31, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." This philosophy underpins their call for compassion and support during these trying times. "We empathize with those who are suffering. In moments when darkness may seem overwhelming, we must reject all forms of evil and unite in righteousness," the statement continued. The fellowship pointed out that the recent tragedies underscore the urgent need for prayer, healing, and unity within society. As we stand in solidarity with those who mourn, we reaffirm our commitment as believers in the Lord Jesus Christ to uphold holiness and righteousness, fostering an atmosphere of love and support. In response to the growing concerns, the Zadok Ministries has called upon all churches and believers to unite in prayer for the nation. On Sunday, April 27, 2025, we encourage every congregation to dedicate time during their services for healing, restoration, and to eliminate all forms of evil from our nation, guided by Scripture, the statement concluded. The organization extended its condolences to the affected families and communities during this difficult time.
We can't allow the city to deteriorate, VP Jagdeo says. Newsroom, as the mayor and city council ManCC continues to neglect its waste management duties. Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo has emphasized that the central government will not permit the city and its surroundings to deteriorate under the current leadership of the People's National Congress/Reform, PNC/R, led council. Dr. Jagdeo criticized the city council for its inadequate management and lack of accountability, especially in light of growing concerns about the city's deteriorating condition. The vice president noted that the city council has generated significant revenue, including over $2 billion from a container fee collected over the past 9 years. However, he pointed out that the council has failed to provide financial statements detailing how these funds are being spent. Every month, they receive $25 to $30 million, that's $300 million annually, and yet there is no transparency, Dr. Jagdeo stated during a press conference at Freedom House in Georgetown. Despite the council's revenue from various initiatives, he criticized their failure to address essential services such as road maintenance, drainage, and recreational facilities. Dr. Jagdeo suggested that the council's inaction, particularly during an election season, is a strategy to blame the PPP government for the city's issues. To tackle the garbage crisis in Georgetown, he announced the establishment of a task force comprising representatives from public, private, and civil society sectors. They know it's election time, so they leave everything on the street, trying to shift the blame, he remarked. Dr. Jagdeo also highlighted the government's substantial investments in community infrastructure, including billions spent on upgrading thoroughfares and the procurement of 100,000 street lights for installation across various neighborhoods. In sports, significant resources have been directed toward upgrading and rehabilitating over 30 sports grounds from Agricola on the east bank of Demerara to Cummings Lodge on the east coast of Demerara. Additionally, contracts have been awarded to clean internal drainages, a task typically handled by the MAN-CC. Without the central government's substantial investment, the city would be in a far worse condition. We cannot allow the city to deteriorate, he asserted. Furthermore, Dr. Jagdeo announced that contracts have been awarded to 60 small contractors for the upgrade of the Lou Repenter Cemetery, which has served as the final resting place for Georgetown citizens since its establishment in 1861. We will improve drainage and install lights in the cemetery, allowing better access. Our goal is to enhance this space, possibly by planting trees as well, he added.